This is 2024's Alien Romulus. Warning, spoilers ahead. The story starts on a spaceship as Mother's system boots back up, and we see that this is set 20 years after the very first Alien film. The ship flies through space as it approaches the wreckage of the Nostromo, and it spots a floating piece of debris that they pick up. Once the rock is on the ship, the crew uses lasers to cut it open, and we can see that it's actually the remnants of the original alien that attacked the crew of the Nostromo. Well, we all know that Weyland never learns from their previous mistakes, and since there's a whole franchise built around them, I'd say this movie is headed in the same direction as the others. Then we meet Rain as she wakes up on one of Weyland's mining planets, and she goes to eat breakfast with her synthetic brother Andy. His bad sense of humor isn't enough to cheer her up, and she's preoccupied with going to the company's headquarters to get a release from the colony. When Rain tells the associate that she's met her quota for leaving the planet, she's told that her time has been doubled and she's not set to leave for another 5 to 6 years. Suddenly, Andy is attacked by hooligan children and Rain rushes to his aid with a chip to reset his computer components. In light of the news that they aren't leaving, Rain answers a call from an old friend Tyler, who says he has a great opportunity for them. That never works out well, and considering the fact that they still look like kids, I doubt everything has been planned out accordingly. Rain and Andy head to Tyler's plot to hear his plan, and she meets all of the other friends that she hasn't kept in touch with. When they get down to business, Tyler reveals that they heard a beacon from a decommissioned ship that's floating right above their head, and they want to go there to get the cryopods and fuels for them to get to their dream planet. Rain thinks stealing from the company is insane, but all they really need from her is Andy, since he's a Weyland synthetic who can access the terminals. Bjorn thinks that her sentiment for Andy is stupid, and Tyler has to explain to Rain that this is their only chance to really escape. For all intents and purposes, Tyler's plan is seemingly foolproof with the info they have on the ship, but that's just it. They don't know all the info about what happened on Romulus. Well, they're about to find out. Rain agrees to let them use Andy to get on the ship, and they take off. Once in space, they realize that the beacon didn't come from any old Weyland ship, but it's actually a whole decommissioned outpost that's set to crash into the asteroid belt surrounding the planet. Tyler says that they have 36 hours until the station crashes, but he doesn't expect them to be longer than 30 minutes. Before moving forward, Rain checks with Andy to make sure he's okay with this, and he explains how he has one directive: to do what's best for Rain, and that's exactly what he plans to do here. After docking with the ship, Tyler, Bjorn, and Andy head inside, and they find the nearest cryopods. To their dismay, there's not enough fuel left in these pods to make it all the way to Yavaga, so they have to find more pods elsewhere in the outpost. Yes, because delving deeper into a broken science ship is always the safest plan. We all know that they aren't all going to make it in the end, so let's just start making bets on who is going to live. I'm hoping Tyler at least makes it farther than Bjorn. While the crew makes their way to the next pods, Rain wonders why Bjorn is being so mean to Andy, and Kay and Navarro explain how a synthetic decided to sacrifice Bjorn's mother in a mine to save the lives of the others when an explosion happened. While Navarro manages to secure the first cryopods, Kay rushes to the bathroom to throw up. Rain tries to help her, and she finds out that she's just pregnant. Meanwhile, Bjorn tells Andy that he's not even going to make it to Yavaga since he's a synthetic, and while Andy didn't see this coming, he understands why Rain didn't tell him, and he understands why he can't be with her on her new planet. And now I hope Andy makes it to the end, but looking back at the other Alien movies, the outcome doesn't look so good for any synthetics. Tyler leads the group to a new wing of the outpost where they find an abandoned lab, and they find a deactivated synthetic body next to a hole that's been created through acid. We all know what that means! Alien! They all ignore the hole and move to the cryo chamber where they find pods with plenty of fuel. What they also find are 36 copies of face huggers that Weyland managed to print before the outpost went offline. They end up setting off the alarm in the area, and with that comes warmer temperatures, which activates the face huggers. With the area going into lockdown, Andy doesn't have the credentials to open the door again, and Rain and Navarro have to rush into the outpost to get the dead synthetic's credentials for Andy. Little do they realize that while Andy's system reboots, Tyler and Bjorn are being hunted by face huggers. Just when one of them is about to get Tyler, Andy finishes rebooting, and he saves them by opening the door. Andy manages to trap all of the facehuggers behind the next door, except for one that latches onto Navarro's face. Well, that's it for her. Let's just add Navarro's name to the list of first victims in alien movies. Andy points out that the facehugger is keeping Navarro alive for now, but the others are more concerned about his new personality from the other synthetics module. As a way to figure out how to remove the facehugger, they decide to reactivate the damaged synthetic. Hey, Ash! Oh, I'm sorry, this is Rook, actually. Either way, it can't be trusted. Rook tells them that there's no way to help Navarro, and he warns them that they'll all die if they stay. Well, that's good enough for me. Let's go. They already have the cryofuel cells. They have what they needed. It's just Navarro. Rook gives them a history of the alien and the Nostromo, and he reveals that the science division had been experimenting on the original alien. Rain comes up with the idea of freezing the facehugger's tail to get it off Navarro, and it actually works out. The chances that she's already been impregnated with an alien embryo don't look too good though, and Rook tries to reason with Andy's computer part of his brain. Andy tries to keep Navarro from getting back on the ship, but Bjorn shocks him and takes her back while trapping Tyler, Rain, and Andy on the outpost. Navarro undocks the ship, but something goes wrong. It turns out that the facehugger did end up planting the embryo, and Navarro dies from a chest burster. In the process, Navarro kicks the ship's controls, and they crash into a separate section of the Romulus outpost. Classic alien movie tactic. Just when they could have gotten away with just one little problem, that one little problem turns into 3 massive issues that make their chances look like complete crap. Thanks to the crash landing on the outpost is set to crash into the asteroid belt in 47 minutes now, and Rain, Tyler, and Andy start making their way to the hangar on the other side. First, they have to cross a section that's infested with the facehuggers, but Andy is talking with Rook about his new directive. Finish the mission and do what's in the best interest of the company. When it comes time to cross the infested section, they decide to raise the temp in the room so that they couldn't sense their body heat signature. Eventually, the room is hot enough, and Andy warns them to stay quiet and calm before he opens the doors. What's even worse is the fact that Kay has found the newly hatched xenomorph on the ship, and it's much bigger now. She fights to escape the ship with Bjorn, but he dies so she can get away. Things seem to be going well for Rain's group until Tyler gets a call from Kay on the ship. Now they have to run. Why is the radio on at all? The whole point is to stay silent, so just turn it off. They didn't even know anyone was alive on the ship anymore. Andy manages to shut the door behind them just in time to keep the facehuggers out, but Rain is surprised that he almost shut the door on Tyler too. Eventually, they make it to the hangar door where they find Kay begging for help opening it, but Andy refuses since he knows the alien is setting a trap for them. Kay ends up getting taken by the xenomorph, and Rain and Tyler are furious with Andy. Andy reveals his new directive to serve the company, but he still finds them a way out of that area. He also reveals that he is going to complete Rook's mission so he can help the company, and Rain and Tyler go to Yavaga when they're done. Hey! They managed to connect Prometheus' storyline to this one quite well. They were experimenting with alien DNA from the black goo David was working on in Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And now, Wayland Corporation wants it back again. Before leaving the lab, Andy gives them weapons but warns not to shoot the alien since the acid blood would eat straight through the hole. With the black goo in hand, they make their way down a conveyor belt to find a better exit strategy. They wind up in a corridor that turns out to be the location of the alien hive, and they realize that there are many more aliens on the ship. Just when Rain decides they should find another way, Tyler hears a gasp and he runs down the corridor to help Kay. It turns out that she hasn't been impregnated with an alien embryo yet, and they consider injecting her with the black goo to save her. Tyler is willing to risk it, but Rain doesn't think they should. They all rush to the service elevator, but Tyler is snatched after opening the door. No! Tyler! Of course the good guy doesn't make it! Rain manages to get Kay onto the elevator, but she leaves Andy behind since he's malfunctioning after getting hit by an alien. Halfway up, Rain stops the elevator and tells Kay to get to the ship while she tries to save Andy. After sending Kay up with the elevator, Rain climbs down the service ladder to save Andy. Kay doesn't have faith in her plan though, so she injects herself with the black goo right after Rain leaves. Once Rain gets to Andy, she removes Rook's module and resets him, but now they're trapped with the aliens. Andy tries to ask Rook for assistance, but when he decides to leave them for dead, Rain shuts off the gravity generators and tries to shoot her way out since the blood won't go through the hole. Smart plan, but we already knew that the gravity generators were finicky, so this was not a well thought out plan. Rain's doing the best she can on short notice, though. Gotta give her credit for that. Once Rain and Andy make it back to the elevator shaft, they push their way up, but the remaining aliens are hot on their trail. Rain almost makes it to Andy, but the gravity turns back on and she falls along with the elevator. One of the aliens manages to catch her, but when a hull breach happens, the elevator crushes all but one of the xenomorphs, which Andy manages to kill by using Rain's weapon as he falls to the bottom with it. Rain and Andy make it up to the ship, but the outpost starts colliding with the asteroid belt. After Rain thinks that they've made it to safety, she puts Kay into a cryopod and returns to the bridge to disconnect Mother and Rook from the autopilot system. Rain connects Andy to the ship for the long trip to Yavaga, and she prepares a cryopod for herself. Oh, another classic alien movie trope. Just when you thought they had defeated the big baddie and got away, the real big baddie reveals itself. This time, Kay's unborn child ends up being, well, born, but it's not human. Rain tries to get rid of the offspring's sac, but the acid blood makes her drop it. With the integrity of the hull being compromised, the autopilot disconnects and the ship starts dropping toward the asteroid belt. Andy disconnects and Rain heads down to the cargo area to... This is not a baby! This is an abomination! The offspring takes out Andy in order to get to Kay so it can feed from its mother, and Rain rushes back upstairs to help. She's too late though, and now she has to find a way to get this thing off of her ship. She rushes to get her suit on so the cryo fuel doesn't freeze her, and she leads the creature to the cargo area. Rain manages to use the egg's acid blood to make another hole in the hull, and she climbs up the rope to get back to the ship. Oh! That jump scare actually got me. Kudos to them for that one. In a final attempt to kill the offspring, Rain pulls the rope to release the cargo hold, and she watches as it dies in the asteroid belt. Rain pulls herself back up to the ship where the autopilot has re-engaged itself, and she puts Andy's body and herself in cryosleep until they get to Yavaga. After Rain signs off with the classic outro, the credits roll. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.